My name is Dan McLaughlin. I'm a Chief Economist of the Bank of Ireland. Well, the latest economic forecasts are a little bit more upbeat than they were because the data has surprised to the upside. We recently got the second quarter figures for Ireland. They showed the economy expanded 1.6%. The first quarter figure was revised up to 1.9%. So it might surprise people to realise that the economy therefore has grown 3.5% in the first 6 months of the year. I think for SMEs though, maybe it would surprise some of them because the growth is still very much unbalanced. It's very much driven by exports still, and exports are still holding up very well. We did see some increase in business spending, which we haven't seen for a long time, again which was a bit of a surprise. Businesses seem to be spending more again on machinery and equipment, and we're seeing a huge amount of foreign direct investment into the economy again. So all of that is very positive, but the downside is that the one area which is still pretty weak and no real sign of a significant change at the moment is consumer spending. So if SMEs are selling into this domestic market, I'm sure they're still finding it difficult. As I said, Irish exports in total have done very well in the last few years, and what's interesting is that it's not just multinationals. The big export sectors that Ireland has is multinational service exports and also exports in areas like pharmaceuticals and medical devices. Those areas are doing well, but what's interesting in the last year or so is that the domestic business companies are actually exporting quite strongly as well. In areas like particularly like the agri sector is doing very well. But just Irish SMEs generally that have export markets, the figures would suggest exports are growing pretty well. We believe that particularly the United States seems to be picking up a little bit of momentum again, and I think for SMEs exporting there, I think the market should be a bit stronger. And also for any SME selling into the United States, they've also had a big boost in the last few months because the concern about the Eurozone has prompted a big fall in the euro against the US dollar. As I said earlier, the domestic economy has not been performing particularly well, but there are some signs in certain areas that things are changing. Particularly, we've seen a significant pickup in tourism, and in the first half of the year, particularly the second quarter, very large rise in tourism, a double-digit increase in tourist numbers coming into Ireland from the United States and Europe, continental Europe particularly, big increases. So in the tourist-related areas like hotels, restaurants, even wholesale and retail, we're beginning to see, I think, some signs of life there. Another thing which may be, I think, positive for SMEs is the interest rate environment, because this year we've seen the ECB performing quite differently to other central banks. We've seen the US Federal Reserve say they're going to keep interest rates low for the next 2 years. We've seen the Bank of England recently announce further buying of long-term assets to try and keep interest rates low. But against that environment, our own central bank, the ECB, raised interest rates, of course, this year twice, in April and July, which was odd in many ways anyway. But what's reassuring now, I think, for borrowers is that the ECB has completely changed its tune in the recent months. We now know that at their October meeting they discussed cutting rates. They didn't in the end, of course, but most people think that there's quite high chance over the next few months that we're going to see an interest rate cut. So anyone on a tracker mortgage or any borrowing that's related directly to the repo rate would obviously benefit.